Good morning, alla. Jag är glad att vara här med er på den här seminariet om landrelaterade investeringar i Afrika. Jag heter Anna Tibaijuka. Jag är Tanzania landminister och utbildad i Sverige på 80-talet i Ultuna på Lantbruksuniversitetet. Jag vill gärna nu fortsätta på engelska. This seminar is coming at the right time, at a crossroads, a time when it's almost a watershed. These issues are being discussed, the question of land use in Africa, the question of land productivity also, which has to be kept on the horizon. And as Minister for Lands in Tanzania, I find myself, I can say, at a strategic and vantage point to enter this debate. Tanzania, like the rest of Africa, is a huge country, and land population densities are relatively low compared to other places. But of course, land in Tanzania, as in many other parts of Africa, is not being used very productively at the moment. So land productivity is low and actually has been falling. So we welcome, therefore we welcome investments, because we know we have land, but we need capital and we need know-how or technology on this land to turn its productivity around, to be able to sustain the livelihoods. The populations are increasing. So the question then becomes, how do you do it? And how do you do it for Africans? Because if we are going to improve productivity on African land, first and foremost, it must be for Africans. What is in there for us, for our people? I think this is the question that we are asking ourselves. So my view and the official view in Tanzania is we are welcoming this opportunity, but also we are trying to see how can we use this opportunity, not once again for Africa to be used, but also to participate in this opportunity and benefit. They benefit, like I'm saying, because they have the land, but they don't have the technology, the modern technology which is available. They don't have the know-how. They don't have the market connections. They don't have the storage capacity, and so on and so forth. So definitely, you need a policy, and also you need an organizational framework where everybody benefits. And this cannot happen unless you have a partnership between the landowners on the one hand, and the big or the commercial farmers on another. So what is actually not understood is that there could be a win-win situation for everybody. And as Tanzania's Minister for Lands, this is precisely what I have been working on since I started working on this job when I left the United Nations and came back to Tanzania. I have just been charting out a policy where everybody wins. Because the current situation where land is either idle or unproductive or being mined, because environmental deterioration is also going on quite rapidly. As populations have increased, without technology, they have no option but to cut trees to be able to cook food. As populations have increased, without technology for irrigation, climate change means that the drought spells have increased. So the situation cannot definitely continue. So this debate, to be productive, to be meaningful, to move beyond sensation, there is a lot of sensation around this debate. But that is not productive or constructive sensation, because it does not address the questions, neither does it provide the answer. And precisely that's what we are doing. So we think that what looks good is in matters of forestry, in matters of food production, in matters of producing raw materials for industries, is how do we package and organize agriculture and agriculture-based investments in a way that, above all, the local people benefit. So in Tanzania, we have already actually, contrary to what I'm reading in the newspapers, that Tanzania is signing off huge tracts of land. Most of it is sensation. because it is not true. As Minister for Land, and I've been sitting on this job now for about 16 months, we have not signed on any land to anybody. And in Tanzania, to get land, you need a land title. And the land title is coming from my desk. So I can assure the people who are worried that this is actually not true. So there is a lot of sensation on the internet. There is this group calling itself, for example, the land matrix. They have just published data in our own papers in the East African paper, for example, that we are supposed to have signed off over 400,000 hectares of land to SECAP, a Swedish company. I can assure everybody it hasn't happened because it could only happen from my desk. The only thing that a Swedish company, Eco Energy, got was 22,000 hectares of land for sugarcane and bioenergy, ethanol, in one of the districts here called Bagamoyo. But it is a model project because they have accepted to pilot our policy on what we call land for equity. They have the money, we have the land. So we have entered a partnership. They have given us some shares. And in return, we have given the land for a long time. This is going to be an engagement. They have a title. They will get a title for 99 years. Everybody will be there. And the shares taken by government are also divided equally between the central government and, of course, the local authority. Because the people who are using that land right now, they are the first stakeholder. Unless you get shares for those people, first of all, you cannot sustain the investment because we have no capacity to police all these large farms. So it is actually not wise for any foreign company to want to be alone on these huge tracts of land. Where will you get security for your investment? The people must buy in. And in Africa, and I can say that as an African who understands both the local situation and the international scene, is that we will need, it would be folly for anyone to think they could get secure tenure on land in Africa if the Africans feel land has been grabbed away from them. We are having problems in the mining sector, forestry sector, but particularly mining. The first generation of agreements, contracts, could have been better. But with land, it is explosive even politically. Because if there's anything that the Africans understand, it is land. Ever since the advent of colonial intrusion, Africans have fought for land. So they fought 100 years ago, 150 years ago. You think they will just let it go right now? That's why we are now looking for a framework and a mode of cooperation which balances the interests of all parties. That there is a role of central government. We must secure and guarantee these investments. But then when you have the insights like the ones I have, like for example, Eco Energy accepted. They have been around in this country for 5 years. They were trying to get land. But finally, when I became land minister, and they came to me and I said, why don't we do a partnership where everybody wins? And this way we are able to move forward. But also there are investors who are greedy. They don't want to share anything with the natives. They are arguing that land has no value, and I'm saying land has a lot of value, otherwise they wouldn't be coming here with their money. So land has a lot of value, and that's the way to do it. People should not portray Africa and its leadership as people who don't know what we are doing. Those days are gone, Some of us, like me, we got benefit of education. In my case, educated in Sweden. I am well versed in land tenure systems. One of the subjects I studied at Ultuna was land tenure and farm organization. So I am actually conversant with these matters, even and concepts professionally. So I would like to say that what we need is assistance. For example, in Tanzania, land is not surveyed. 90% of the land remains unsurveyed. So when land is not surveyed, this becomes very tricky. When foreign investors come, then they have to go around to look for land. We are now changing that. We are creating a land bank. And that's where CEDA comes in. Institutions like CEDA, they should come to help us so that we have a framework, we have a situation, an environment where now when investors come, they don't go around all over the country looking for land themselves because we are not prepared. in projects like establishing a Tanzanian land bank, which is basically a land survey exercise, there is room even for foreign assistance. Now, for the companies, when they come to invest, they should also come with good policies, because they must, above all, if for nothing else, they must also think about the future, the security of their investments. So my general message to this seminar is to thank the organizers for coming up with such a brilliant idea. I have been at CEDA many times. I would have wished to be there physically today, but it is not possible. So I am speaking on camera. But I would like to say they should have confidence in us. We know what we are doing, but we need assistance and knowledge. But we don't need, exaggerated sensation, because that is not helping us. If you say land has been given away, farmers have been thrown off their land, and I am land minister, and I have not signed off any piece of land to anybody in such a reckless manner, then you become concerned. Then you turn away people who could help us. But if you are a land surveyor, or if you're in a position to come and help us with surveying, with information technology, with the land registry, then you will make a very positive contribution to this challenge of turning African land's productivity so that Africa can at least feed itself.